Hello everyone, this is Mohit Raj, final year MBBS student at NMMC Gaya. So recently during my clinical postings, I had seen a case of neurocysticercosis. Actually, there was a 4-year-old boy presented with recent onset of focal seizures, headache, and signs of raised ICP, that is intracranial pressure. So fast forward on further investigation, it was concluded that it is a case of neurocysticercosis. Actually, neurocysticercosis is a clinical radiological diagnosis. So on brain imaging, there is a ring enhancing lesion is seen. So I thought today that I will share that case with all of you. So I will share about neurocysticercosis and some other differentials of ring enhancing lesion seen on brain imaging. So what is ring enhancing lesion? What causes that ring enhancement? That actually CNS infections, wherever there is infection, that will lead to inflammation and edema. Actually, that edema causes the ring enhancing, that is well appreciated in MRI. So what are the differentials of ring enhancing lesion on brain imaging? So it is neurocysticercosis or tuberculoma or brain abscess or toxoplasmosis or metastasis to the brain. So first of all, let's discuss about neurocysticercosis. It is caused by cysticercus larva of Taenia solium, that is the pork tapeworm. The human ingests the infected pork meat with cysticercus. So cysticerci may develop in any organ, being more common in the subcutaneous tissue or muscle, or in the brain, or even in the eye. So here we are discussing about neurocysticercosis, that is the cysticerci already invaded into the brain parenchyma, and the patient presents with recent onset of focal or generalized seizures or headache or signs of increased intracranial pressure. So there are four pathological stages of neurocysticercosis. First one is vesicular stage, that is the Weibel stage. Second one is colloidal vesicular, that is the degenerating stage. Third one is granular nodular, and the last is nodular calcified. The last two is the dead stage of the cysticerci. So let's see the various radiological finding of various stages. So in vesicular stage is actually the live stage of cysticerci. So cysticerci is live with its scolex inside. So here the wall of cysticercus is intact, so there is no leakage of fluid from inside, so there will be no edema. So non-enhancing lesion is seen. Here you can see the non-enhancing lesion, just the cysticercus with scolex inside. Now coming to the degenerating stage, here the parasite is dying, so cell membrane is breached, so there is leakage of fluid from inside, and that fluid leads to edema. So edema causes enhancement. So here ring enhancing lesion is seen in the degenerating stage. It is also the symptomatic stage because there is edema, and edema irritates the brain parenchyma, leading to seizures. Next stage is the dead stage of cysticercus. That is the when cysticercus dies, the body responds to it by covering it with calcium. That is the calcification of the dead cysticercus. So here the calcified cysticercus will appear as white dots on MR or CT scan. So as I have earlier mentioned that cysticercus might invade into muscle also, that is known as, in that case it will be known as myocysticercosis, and upon X-ray pelvis it will be seen as rice grain pattern. You can see here the calcified cysticerci appear as tiny rice grain. So now coming to the treatment of neurocysticercosis, mainly the treatment is symptomatic. That is when the patient is presenting with seizure, we give medication for seizure. Next is anti-inflammatory, mainly prednisolone. And next is cysticidal drugs, that is albendazole or praziquantel. So here one point to note that anti-inflammatory medication should always be administered prior to the cysticidal drugs, because when we give cysticidal drugs before anti-inflammatory medication, then the live cystic cerci will die and it will evoke a massive inflammatory response, so that will be hazardous for the patient. So always give anti-inflammatory medication before the cysticidal medication. Now coming to the differential of ring enhancing lesion, that is the brain abscess. In brain abscess, there might be history of CSOM or sinusitis, because as we have studied in ENT that unsafe CSOM might complicate into the brain abscess. Or it might be case of congenital heart disease, example tetralogy of Fallot, because there occurs the phenomena of paradoxical embolism. The septic emboli directly lodges into the brain, causing the brain abscess. In brain abscess, there is pus that is thick and viscous, and surrounding the pus there will be edema. So on contrast enhanced MRI, that is CMR, there will be ring enhancement with surrounding edema will be seen. But in diffusion weighted MRI, diffusion weighted MRI is a special type of MRI that is based on the principle of particle motion or Brownian motion. So when the tissue is dead, it will not show any particle motion, so it will appear as bright on diffusion weighted MRI. So here in brain abscess, the tissue is dead, the pus material is dead, so it will appear as bright on diffusion weighted MRI. So I would like to add one important point here, that investigation of choice for acute hemorrhage of brain is NCCT, but investigation of choice for acute infarct in brain is same, that is diffusion weighted MRI, because in infarction, same logic, the tissue will be dead, so there will be no particle motion leading to no Brownian motion, so it will appear as bright, so easily detected on diffusion weighted MRI. Now coming to another differential, that is toxoplasmosis. The major pointer for toxoplasmosis is HIV positive patient, and the CD4 count will be less than 200 per microliter, and there will be eccentric lesions seen in the toxoplasmosis. Now one more close differential of ring enhancing lesion on brain imaging is tuberculoma. In tuberculoma, there are many ring-like lesions coalescing to each other, appearing as bunch of grapes, and inside those rings there is necrotic tissue. That's why it is not detected. So tuberculoma is actually the tubercular infection of the brain parenchyma, that is totally different from tubercular meningitis. So there will be history of weight loss or night sweats, or there might also be history of pulmonary tuberculosis. So one more specific investigation for tuberculoma is MR spectroscopy, in which lipid peak will be seen. In MR spectroscopy, there is peak of different chemicals. In some diseases there might be peak of Na. So here in tuberculoma there is peak of lipid. Now coming to the another differential, that is metastasis to the brain, which is more common in elderly patient, and the most common site of metastasis is gray-white junction, that is junction of gray matter and white matter. And the most common cancer leading to metastasis to the brain is small cell carcinoma of lung. Therefore we give prophylactic cranial radiotherapy. So that's all for today. I hope you all enjoyed this video. So until next time, bye.